What's good, people? It's your boy Twale back again with another Kingdom discussion video. This time I'm going to be discussing whether or not Kesha or Kocho was handled properly and which one was handled better. So let's start with Kesha, the silent hunter, Raboku's supposed right-hand man and the closest person to becoming a three-grade heaven. Now, in his introduction, he went up against Dukio, and he was very impressive, luring Dukio into a trap that almost got Dukio killed if it wasn't for Shin's intervention. After that, he was able to, keep the Duke on the back foot. Even though he had better numbers, it was still highlighted that he wasn't a pushover and that instinctually he was able to match up well with the Duke. After that, we get his battle at the Kokyo Hills. And during the Kokyo Hills, he made a few mistakes that led to his death. However, the mistakes that he made weren't like foolish mistakes. They weren't just outright idiotic mistakes. So his first mistake was going after Shin and the High Shin unit when they were at the lower half of the Central Hill. Now, the reason why I say this isn't stupid is because the High Shin unit were posing a very real and very dangerous threat to Kisui's army and to the Zhao forces as a whole. And the fact that Kanki hadn't moved and that they were still a nuisance and an annoyance furthered his reasoning as to why he should just go ahead and take them out, confident that his elite forces could take out Shin and the High Shin unit. Again, it was foolish because he put himself in danger and he reacted purely due to anger and not due to any calculated decision making. However, the decision to go after the High Shin unit was still technically a smart decision because they were being very disruptive against Kisui and what he was doing against Kokuo and things of that nature. So I'll give him a pass for that. However, the second mistake he made was actually looking down on Shin the second time after they got behind the enemy lines and they was able to get away from the Central Hill and they were able to get deeper into Zhao territory. He looked down on Shin and gave Shin the whole 5 years too early speech about how this was a battle between him and Kanki and not between Shin. So that was foolish just for looking down on Shin, given his track record, given the fact that Raboku had highlighted Shin as a commander of concern. So that was just overall foolish on his part. And he paid for it by dying. Although he went out better than, say, Kocho did. He actually fought Shin, was able to push Shin to a mid-diff, I would say. Given the circumstances, it was high diff, but the actual duel was mid-diff. And due to that, I think Kesha has a better looking in just the showings of the manga. But then you move on to Kocho, the guardian deity of Zhao. The man was touted as a demon and, this great general that demons feared and that the Zong knew and that everybody, they just couldn't mess with, according to Kosen Ryu. Now, in terms of armies, there's no comparison. He definitely has the better army than Kesha. Kesha's army only consisted really of Kenmo and Gakue. Whereas Kocho, he had the Buddha nigga, he had the kid that's with Riboku right now, as well as the two Gakuhaku guys, the father and the son, that both ended up getting killed. But he had more commanders and more qualified commanders than Kesha. So in terms of army strength, Kocho definitely has the army side. But in terms of actual manga portrayal and actual feats in the manga, Kocho was just a disappointment. First, he went down to Retsubi and held Retsubi from nobody, really, because we had moved everybody to the Shukai Plains and to Gyo. And then when Sensuiju attacked Shohekun's guy, can't remember his name right now. When Sensuiju attacked Shohekun's guy, Kocho really didn't do anything. And then the next thing we get from Kocho is when Toe pulls up and he's like, yeah, we can't fight Toe and fight Akko. If it was just Toe, we could do it, but Toe and Akko is not going to be possible. So they just went ahead and retreated. After that, we get off panel for a year of apparently him and the Kantan army stalemating Yotanwa, Osen, and Konki, as well as Uhon and Moten, and the Haishin unit was struggling at the time, but everybody was getting stalemated by Kocho with the Kantan army. Cool. Then we get to the battle with Konki, the battle for Eku. And Konki is being reckless, going ahead, sending people forward. He's winning battles, but he's losing a lot of men at the same time. And Kocho takes this as a sign to say, okay, Konki is the prey that we're going to go after. Konki is the one we're going to kill first. So he goes after Konki. And as he goes after Konki, he takes with him 240,000 troops, leaving the center and leaving, I guess, you know what I'm saying, whoever was like the supreme commander in charge of dealing with Osen and Yotanwa. He just left them to their own devices, went down to Konki, and after that he did nothing. You know what I'm saying? He sent his forces out to battle Konki's forces. So the Buddha nigga was fighting Uhon at first, and then he fought Shin. The kid in the center was fighting Rengoku and Kokuo, and he was spanking them. And then the Gaku Hakuko guy was fighting Raido, and then his son died, and then he died, and then his son took over, or his older son took over, and then everything happened. But Kocho himself didn't do anything. And it's kind of funny because Kesha's actions was his stupid point in his arc, where his action to go after the Haishin unit is what led to his death. In this scenario, it was Kocho's inaction that led to his death. The fact that he himself didn't maneuver any type of defensive units to guard his HQ. The fact that Kocho himself didn't have any strategies or tactics after Konki and them attacked him at the HQ. The fact that he didn't have any bigger strategy than we're going to outnumber Konki and just wipe them out. All of these inactions is what led to his death. Because the only actions he took was spreading his men out. And then he spread them out so far that his HQ, out of the 200,000, couldn't keep 10,000, couldn't keep 5,000 men to protect his HQ. Out of the 240,000 that they brought with them, that's just incompetence on a whole nother level. And then the fact is, he didn't even go out in like a blaze of glory like Kesha did. He killed himself. You know what I'm saying? He didn't fight back. He didn't have a moment where he overpowered Konki or really like overpowered any of Konki's top hitters. He literally let his men die, so got surrounded, and gave a bullshit speech about how Konki is shallow and darkness is... It's like, man, it was so pathetic. So... in my opinion, while I will state Kocho has the better army. If it was army versus army, Kocho would definitely win that fight, hands down. He just has the superior commanders. But in terms of character portrayal, in terms of how they were handled in the manga, I believe Kesha was handled way better because his flaws, although major flaws, they at least made more sense and had some validity to them. Whereas Kocho's flaws were just simply him being arrogant and him not... you know what I'm saying? Him not giving any thoughts into how Konki would move or how he should best protect himself, knowing Konki's MO of always going after the big cheese. So, yeah, with that being said, Kesha got this win for me. Leave your comments below, like, comment, and subscribe, and peace.